How's it going today, everybody? This is Michael out in Maui. Aloha. So if you've been enjoying all the content that I've been putting out, I recommend subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified every single time I put out a new video. So today I wanted to talk about strangulating the disc when you throw. Arm grip. So through the years, I've had people write and tell me that you got to hold on to the disc really loose to throw. And obviously, you know, to me, it doesn't make sense because I can throw over 400 feet and I definitely don't do it with a loose grip, you know. I throw hard because I strangulate the disc and my arm. I mean, everything's tight. I hold on to the disc as tight as I can to pull. But the difference, you know, is like, you know, the difference between throwing hard and soft. You know, if your muscles are loose on the reach back here, you know, you're going to tighten your arm to pull, you know, the disc. But if you're holding on to the disc loose, and, you know, and you got a loose arm and you pull, you're not going to gain power, you know, because it's kind of like this. You know, if I reach back and I pull through soft, you know, or easier, you know, I mean, there's no power in that shot I just threw into the ground. You know, the disc is barely even moving, you know, loose arm, you know, and you come back and you know, throw. I mean, that's a loose grip throw. I mean, it's like a placement shot. But if you want to start throwing farther and harder, it's all about arm tension and the grip. You gotta grip the disc tight. You gotta have a strong forearm. These two combos is what throws the disc. You know, because when I reach back, my arm's already got tension in it. If you reach back, you know, with a loose grip, now you have to tighten your arm to try to gain power, and it's too fast. You know, if you have a loose grip here, I mean, you gotta tighten it and throw it all within, you know, 2 seconds. And it's impossible. You know, you're not gonna be able to tighten your grip and throw hard, you know, within that short amount of time. But if you reach back and you have, you know, a slight bend in your arm, because that'll help you make more tension in your arm. So you reach back with your shoulder turn, slight bend, tight forearm, tight grip. So now when you throw, you already have full power for the throw because you're starting with it tight. You know, you're not starting with a loose arm and having to tighten it to pull. You know, because like I said, I mean, you know, if I throw this disc into the ground, you know, tight arm, tight grip, you know, and just throw it right into the ground. I mean, that was harder, you know, than doing it with a loose grip, you know, throwing it into the ground. I mean, you could tell, you know, which one was going to go farther. So I recommend just tighten up everything and do some drills like this. I like doing this. You just rip your disc into the ground as hard as you can. You know, no backstop. You don't have to run anywhere. Just stand here, take your grip, you know, and just reach back. Rip it into the ground as hard as you can, over and over and over again. I used to do that 10 minutes a day, every day. You know, just pick up the disc, rip it into the ground, and after a while, you'll start to get used to throwing with a tighter grip and forearm. And that's the trick to getting more power. You know, you got more power with tension than without tension, you know, on your grip. So, but basically, you know, like I said, if you want to try to just throw harder, you know, the trick is all in the arm. You know, you got to keep that arm tight. And like the big trick is don't go straight. If you go straight when you turn back, your first move is to bend the arm. So it takes even more time out of your throw, you know. So start with it bent. You already got tension. Throw. So anyways, this is Michael out in Maui. Aloha.